Ferrari team principal Frederic Vasseur was very clear last summer when commenting on the Italian side's recruitment campaign, a recruitment process with which the Scuderia would make noise, aimed at strengthening the team after a disappointing start to the season that had dropped the Reds to fourth place among the constructors. 12 months later, despite a different, better but not yet idyllic situation, the promises made by the head of the racing department have been honored since the beginning of the year. Frederic Vasseur has announced the signing of seven-time Formula One world champion Lewis Hamilton and the contract renewal of Charles Leclerc, followed by the strengthening of the technical staff. After securing the services of 60 junior figures, taken from various teams, the technical office directed by Fred Vasseur, who had taken on the role on an interim basis after Italian aerodynamicist Enrico Cardile left for Aston Martin, has been bolstered, as announced, by two top guys from Mercedes, Loic Serra and Jerome D'Ambrosio. The former performance chief of the star team, will be the technical director at Ferrari, while the latter will be the deputy team principal, as announced in September by the Scuderia itself. Starting today, October 1st, these additions will officially be operational in Maranello, taking on their respective roles and joining the historic figures of the Reds, who have been promoted or reassigned in the reorganization led by Frederic Vasseur. Italian journalist Franco Nugnes discussed the recent arrivals in the Ferrari racing department during a podcast for the Italian version of the motorsport website, detailing how the new Ferrari will be structured. He noted that the focus is on continuous and steady growth rather than revolutionary changes, with an emphasis on clear roles, as Fred Vasseur will no longer act as interim technical director. This indicates a shift towards a francophone leadership, as two of the top three positions in the Ferrari racing department are held by French nationals and one by a Belgian. With Frederic Vasseur able to step away from the interim technical director role, the development plan for the SF24 will proceed according to the existing schedule. The first day in Maranello will be immediately busy for the two former Mercedes employees, as the new technical director will be engaged in several meetings with the various department heads, such as Enrico Gualtieri, serving as head of the Ferrari Power Unit area, Fabio Montecchi, currently the chief project engineer, Marco Adorno, head of vehicle performance, Diego Tondi, Ferrari head of aerodynamics, Matteo Toninali, head of track engineers, and Diego Ioverno, the Ferrari sporting director. It was mentioned that Loic Serra and Jerome D'Ambrosio would have the opportunity to engage with their direct reports, specifically those with whom they would work most closely once they assumed their respective roles. The transition would be gradual and low-key. It was noted that Loic Serra's primary connections would be with a select group of Italian engineers who had been inspired to become the technical core of the Scuderia. Furthermore, it was suggested by the Italian journalist that the addition of legendary car designer Adrian Newey to the structure created by Frederic Vasseur would have resulted in very different outcomes, as the British engineer would likely have insisted on bringing in his trusted collaborators, which could have disrupted the currently cohesive and cooperative organization. Loic Serra will effectively need to gradually integrate within the Ferrari racing division, without undermining the certainties of a work group that, after restoring competitiveness to the SF24, is focused on finalizing the last package of updates for the season to challenge for second place in the Constructors' Championship. His work will instead already be oriented toward 2025. In the meantime, the Ferrari engineers and technicians are very busy finalizing the last aerodynamic package of updates that will be seen on the car from the upcoming United States Grand Prix, which is scheduled to take place at the 5.513-kilometer Circuit of the Americas in Austin on Sunday, October 20th. On paper, the American track should not be very suitable for the SF24 single-seater based on the strengths and weaknesses of the Ferrari car, but simulation work indicates that there are good hopes of being competitive even in the American weekend. At the same time, Loic Serra will therefore have the opportunity to oversee Project 677, the completely new car for next Formula One championship, with major changes expected for the chassis, a shorter gearbox, and a revised front suspension layout. A car that will arrive at the Circuit of the Americas with the clear goal of challenging McLaren and Red Bull in the United States Grand Prix. The situation is different for Jerome D'Ambrosio, who, starting today, can fully operate and implement his ideas, especially in the area of the Ferrari Driver Academy. Tomorrow, the former driver development director at Mercedes should meet with Jacques Clear, the technician who has taken care of the Ferrari Driver Academy project, since Laurent Michels left the Maranello team in order to take on the role of team principal of the RB Formula One team. There were rumors regarding the academy that Ferrari would close that experience. However, we can confirm that the intention is to continue with an operational strategy that Jerome D'Ambrosio will develop.